Welcome, one and all. I've been on holiday for 10 days. It's good to be back. I've missed so much. The season start. 2 games in, 2 big games. A lot happened. Let's face it. I haven't been watching them live either. I haven't been able to. Kane sold while I was away. In fact, he was at Stansted the same day I was at Stansted. He was flying to Munich. I was flying to Greece. I was flying into Kavos, or Corfu, Kavos. So much has happened in the 10 days I've been away. I just want to say this. There's actually my intro. I just looked at my intro. I've still got Harry Kane there. I changed Conte to Ange a few months back, actually, when he first signed for us. But I need to change Kane. Who am I going to put in there? I'm not putting Ritchie there. I'm not putting Ritchie there in that intro. Get at me. Who should I put in the intro instead of Kane? It's not Richarlison either. Maybe Maddison. Maybe Bissouma. One of the first things I want to talk about is Maddison, actually, because he could have a little an injury scare, which is very, very worrying. Already, he seems like one of our key players, and he's only just arrived. So, yes, lots of new content this season coming from the Hotspur Hood. Starting with me today. I'm still the leader of the show, but there'll be more content coming up without me. Got some great hosts, some new co-hosts, plenty of announcements in due course. Before we get going today, please make sure you love. I wish you could love. Like. It's almost like loving. It's love to me. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe. We're on the road to 3K. We're on the road to 3K. Seems a million miles away right now, but we got to 2.5 over the summer. Every subscriber, I thank a great deal, and it's free to smash a like. So please smash a like for today's stream and hit the notification bell to keep you notified of all the content coming your way. As I said, there's a lot of content coming up. Right. First up, I wanted to look at this because this is not good news. Not good news at all. Let's change this. Let's get my avatar out for a second. We don't need that. I've got to get back into it. Back streaming. So yes, Maddison injury scare, and it's a big problem if he was to get injured. First up, I want to get through the comments, see what people are saying, see who's here to begin with. The news, Susan Kumar. The news which I was afraid of. Fulham are now after gift ORBAN. We aren't really moving for him, it seems. It seems like Fulham are looking at Eric Dyer as well, which I'd take because Tossin's going to Monaco, their centre-back that we were linked with. Domino effect. I hope they don't take ORBAN, but I hope they take Dyer if they are actually interested. Best intro on Spurs YouTube, I think so, DD. Daryl, how you doing, my friend? Sick of seeing playing Son as a 9. He ain't no number 9. Square pegs. Buy a bloody striker. Exactly. That's why I got the thumbnail up here. It's almost in protest. We need a striker. If it's not ORBAN, then it needs to be someone else if he is on his way to Fulham. Big up T. Jacob Farrell, how you doing? Tony Rodriguez, big up T. You're a T yourself. Big up T. Big up Tony. Give ORBAN before Richarlison every day of the week. If Richarlison can't score in a brothel, we're going to get onto that. We're going to get onto other striker options as well and what Richarlison does offer us in the number 9 or Son for that matter. Because, you know, if they're both to stay, I think they'll be switching between them. If Son, Ritchie, Kulu, the answer, we are in big trouble. I tend to agree. Big up Tommy. Gary O'Neill, how are you doing, my friend? Right. So let's get onto this. Maddison injury scare. So after the Man United game, which I didn't catch on TV. I watched extended highlights. It was difficult away. He was seen on crutches, wearing a foot guard as well. Easily a signing of the season over the summer for me, not just because he played rather well in the first 2 games of the season. It was just clear that he was proven. His goal contributions in the last 3 seasons, I should say, incredible. Goal scoring, assist making, even with a relegated Leicester, a struggling Leicester. The last 2 years, he's still, 10 goals a season, 9 assists a season. We saw exactly what he can do against Man United. So easily, summer signing this season, best signing. I don't want to keep going back to Kane, but I will. I think he deserves that. I think he scored enough goals for us to deserve that. I would loved. This is why I say I'm going back to Kane, to see Kane, Maddison behind Kane. But it wasn't to be. We'll get on to potential Kane replacements in a second, and we do need replacements. As Daryl said, we may not be getting one. We do. We need one over the marathon, over a 38-game season. We can't rely on Emerson and Ben Davies to score our goals. 2 games in, fair enough, but things are going to change drastically. So we move on. We move on from Kane, but so we were relying on Maddison to assist others now when we could have assisted the best number 9 in the league, in the world. So if we lose Maddison as well now, we don't have the goal scorer and we don't have the assist maker. He's also a very good penalty taker, Maddison. So we lose one of the best penalty takers in the world, Kane, and we gain one in Maddison. So fingers crossed, he is not injured. We do not need this guy being injured. Set piece taker in general. He's fantastic at penalties, Maddison. But one thing Kane wasn't good at was set pieces, direct or crossing. So, Maddison makes a big difference there. That certainly can't be said for Kane. As great as he is, certainly cannot be said for Kane in terms of the set pieces. So if he is injured now, look, if Maddison's injured now, even if he's recovered, because we've seen him in these crutches, or if he's injured later on in the season at any point, which I'm sure he could be, same with all players, who is his replacement in the squad? In the current squad, who's Maddison's replacement if we play a 4-2-3-1, which I'm sure we will? If you look at the current squad, you look at it on paper, you have to say Ndombele, you have to say Lo Celso, because they're still Spurs players. They're still Spurs players. Ndombele is linked with Ren, who we like to loan players to. Spence, Rodon last season. So that could happen. I hope that happens. We need to move Ndombele out. I don't think we're going to get any money for him. He certainly cannot be part of the setup. Lo Celso to Napoli, that's been on the cards for a long time, but nothing seems to be developing there. I think Levy wants a fee for Lo Celso. He wants a fee because he's an Argentina international. I think Levy will want 25, 30 million pounds for Lo Celso. And the fact that we paid 50, 60 million pounds for him, don't think that's going to happen. And Lo Celso did look okay in pre-season. So I think the natural replacement for Maddison will be Lo Celso. I don't think he's a great assist maker. He's not too bad, but out and out assists, I don't think Lo Celso is going to give you that, which is troubling to say the least. I think we want 30 million pounds for Lo Celso. I'd rather him than Ndombele, 100%, because in Ndombele's toxic attitude, what he done against Morecambe, unforgivable. So we don't need to see him there. But it looks like he is. He is going to be the backup. Because I don't see us signing another backup. I mean, can Sarr play attacking mid? No. People are saying Kulusevski, could he play attacking mid? And you could put Porro at right wing, Emerson right back. No, because then who's your backup for right wing and who's your backup for right back? Seems like we're interested in cloning players. We can't put Kulusevski there. Gill's still about. I don't know what's happening with Gill. I'm going to get onto potential outgoings and where our players may be heading, because we still need to lose a lot of players. We still need to get rid of a lot of deadwood. So far, it's only Winks. The only player we got money for is Winks. The only other player we loaned out is Rodon. There are a lot of centre-backs we got to ship out of this team. We still need another centre-back. So we need to lose 2 or 3 without a shadow of a doubt. Right, before we move on to the main event, Ritchie or ORBAN for number 9. Again, let's get through the chat. Let's see what people are saying. Got some more regulars in here. Got Audio Artisan. Afternoon, bro. How you doing, my friend? Bill, big up Tommy. What's happening, Bill? Eugene. Hi, everyone. Big up Eugene. A big part of the channel. He's been on so many of my streams, and he does a fantastic show himself, Spurs U Asian TV. So big up Eugene. Wayne Bonner. Good afternoon, everyone. I like what I've seen of ORBAN, but is he good enough to come straight into the squad and possibly team as a starter or sub? We will be getting into that. Not just him, but other strikers. Next. Hey, Eugene. Hope you're well. Lots of love between the people. Big up Eugene. Lots of love between Eugene and Wayne. Lo Celso likes Ange ball and wants to stay. I think Lo Celso... I think it's not about Lo Celso liking it. It's about, if Ange wants him and thinks he can do something with Lo Celso, then fantastic. That's the way around it should be. Gill's still injured. He's still injured. He's still injured. I think what will happen with Gill is we'll find a club for him. I wanted us to give him a chance, but it seems like the Solomon signing has meant that Gill's going to go back out on loan. Every season, it seems like Gill may be starting. Maybe starting for Spurs and getting some regular first-team football, but then final day of the window, we end up finding him a loan move. But he done well for Sevilla. So, I'm surprised. Brian, he had surgery, but I thought he was going to be back by now. I thought it was a little surgery, a brief one, nothing too exceptional. And I still think he'll probably be loaned out, to be honest with you. The balance of the squad, we've got Solomon in there. So I don't really see how that's going to work. But a lot of people have said, the only reason I mentioned Gil is because a lot of people have said, maybe he can play in a cam position. If not, it will be Lo Celso going into the new season. Maddison or Lo Celso. We need a centre-back, striker, and a number 6. That's a emoji. I can't see the emoji sometimes. Is that emoji, Tony? We need a centre-back striker. Yeah, we need a few players. We still need a few players. And talking to Nick, Emerson fan, we didn't play Emerson on the weekend. We kept a clean sheet, baby. Who said Porro can't defend? Do you know what? His name's not Emerson Royal. His name's Emerson Loyal. That's all he is. He's loyal, nothing else. Can't defend, can't attack. I don't care what anybody tells me, including yourself, Barry. Emerson GOAT. No. Did you see him? He scored, didn't he? He scored against Brentford when I wasn't about streaming. But the first goal was his fault. Visa just walked past him on the right, like he wasn't there. Positioning terrible. Guy can't defend. Everyone tries to convince me that Emerson can defend. He's out of position. Every attack against us is out of position. 3 assists in 65 games. So he's not exactly doing it in the other direction, is he? I'm a Porro fan. I'd stick with Porro. He's been there 6 months. Okay. He's not great defensively, but it's 6 months in the Premier League. I think he can learn. I've seen Emerson for 2.5 years, and there's nothing of him going forward. 2023, you need to be able to make assists. Whether you're introverted, right back, full back, or on the outside. We know that Ange wants to play introverted. Still, you need to be able to assist. I'm good, Eugene. You still on sabbatical? I think Eugene's back. I think he's been doing a few streams. As I said, I haven't been about, so I haven't been seeing other streamers either. Hey, big man, enjoying the stream. Jack, how you doing? Is that something from Incredibles? Wayne, yes, still on sabbatical. Oh, you are still on sabbatical. I think Eugene's on holiday as well, actually. I love Gil. I rate him up there with Sarr, and Sarr is the nuts. Sarr looks very good. They said a couple of years back when he was playing for Mets that this could be the next Yaya Toure. There's always a comparison. Vicario was Buffon. They always give extreme comparisons. Once upon a time, Winks was Iniesta. So it's not always it's not always great. In fact, often, most of the time, they don't live up to the comparison. But yeah, Yaya Toure, Sarr was the next Yaya Toure. Hopefully, there's certainly something there with Sarr. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time this season. Loving VDV and Vicario is getting better. That boy's going to be top-class keeper at the end of the season. Wayne, I love your optimism. I'm not so sure. It's only 2 games in. Look, we were shocking against Brentford, wasn't he? And Van der Ven, I like him. He's got a serious amount of pace, but pace will not be enough. There needs to be more than simply pace. Sanchez has got pace. Serious amount of pace, but it needs to know the defensive basics. Again, both looked a bit dodgy against Brentford, but this is the first game of the season. Both looked a lot better against Man United, but look, 2 games. 2 games into the season. It's a marathon. We have to see what happens. I remember when Nuno was there, we were going to win the league after his first 3 games. He won first 3 games. He won, including against Man City. We always beat Man City, but we were going to win the league after that point. So let's be careful. The football looks good. The football looks fantastic. I was desperate to start playing 4 at the back again. It's great. It's great that we play 4 at the back again. Conte, he's always going to play 3 at the back. He played a horrible standard of football, but it was the only way he could get us into the top 4. And Conte gets what he wants. If there's something to achieve, if it's achievable, which top 4 was tough, he got us in there. But I want to see front foot attacking football now. And it looks like Ange is going to offer that. But we have to be very careful. It's 2 games. And we only won 1 of them. But I tell you what, Brentford won 3-0 on the weekend, didn't they? They won 3-0 away from home. So, yeah. The 2-2 away to Brentford doesn't look like such a bad result now, does it? I loved what I saw of Sarr in his first appearance. That kid just has something about him. There certainly is something there. And he's still very, very young. Very, very young. Yo, T, Dan, DB. Fresh season, fresh start, fresh optimism. Absolutely. We still need to do some business from here until the end of the season, I think. We can't look at the Man United game, say we beat them 2-0 at home and that's it. We still need 1 or 2 players in. Striker for sure. Because as I said, I don't think Emerson and Davis are going to score all our goals. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that next. As you can, the thumbnail suggests, we're talking strikers. Sabbatical from work, but still streaming occasionally. Yeah, I thought you're still streaming. Double down, DB. What do you think of using Kulu as the Maddison cover? I don't think he has the pace for Ange wing play. Well, yeah, that's what a lot of people have been saying. The problem is Porro's our best right back, so you're going to put Porro on the right wing and then Emerson at right back. But then who's the backup to Emerson? There is no backup to Emerson. So if Emerson's injured, then you put Porro back to right back, Kulu back to right wing. What if Maddison's injured? See, you can't clone players. This is the problem. So you need 2 players for each position. It's as simple as that. Can Kulusevski play Cam? Potentially, but we need an out-and-out replacement for Maddison outside of Kulu. I think Lo Celso's the man. It looks like Lo Celso's going to be that guy. I can't see Ndombele staying this summer. And the 50, 60 million pounds we paid for Lo Celso, I think Levy wants it back. He wants 30 million for Lo Celso. I'm pretty sure of that. Word on the street is we want 38 million pounds for Højbjerg. Doesn't look happy sitting on the bench. I'm happy for him to sit on the bench, Højbjerg. I'm not that worried if he was to be sold. And I said that during the summer, not just because we've started relatively well in centre midfield. Basuma looks fantastic, doesn't he? If Basuma's fit for the season, he's going to be a serious, serious baller. And if you get Bentancur back after his ACL, imagine Basuma and Bentancur next to each other. Sarah skip for backup. Something special could happen, but you need cover. I don't think Kulu's the man. I don't think Gil's the man to cover him. How was Greece? Great. Greece was good. Greece was fantastic. Corfu was beautiful. It was lovely. It's nice to be back though when it's not so hot. It's not so humid, and it's nice to be back. Talking Spurs. From the first 2 games, does it look like the team can replace the Kane's goals? If not, what do you think is the number 1 striker we should target in the transfer window? We're going to be getting onto that next. It's not just who I think we should target, it's who the realistic ones are. The realistic targets. And we're running out of time. It's the 21st of August. We've got, 10 days left till the window is shut. And it's just 2 games. You look at the first 2 games, you look at the 4 or 5 games over pre-season. We still need some firepower in there. We really do need some firepower up top. We need a few more players. Let's say. Big up Tommy Haas. What's happening, brother? Great job as always. Let's show this man some love and smash that like button. Haas, what is happening, man? How you doing, brother? How you doing? Højbjerg is a suitable sub, but it's time for him to move on. As for our midfield, going to be interesting when Bentancur comes back. Great, exactly. Bentancur. Outside of Kane, I know Bentancur was only fit until February. He was our best player last season. We can all comfortably agree that Kane was our best player. So I'm not worried about Højbjerg going in. It's not hindsight because we started well for the first 2 games in centre midfield. I would never lose sleep if we lost Højbjerg, if we sold him. Although I think he's a good player. I do think he's an okay player. He's also someone I don't really want to see on the bench. I'm not that worried if he doesn't sit on the bench as a rotation option because he seems like he can cause a bit of trouble behind the scenes. He was a bit too forceful and a bit too animated when Conte, after Conte's rant against Southampton, throwing Conte under the bus, he's starting to point like Eric Dyer has been doing over the last 2 or 3 years on the pitch, jumping and pointing. I don't like this about Højbjerg. I think Skip had a falling out with him in training or something and punched him or something. So I feel like when he's on the bench, Højbjerg, he's not a good squad player unless he's playing, needs to be playing. So I'm not going to lose any sleep. But £38 million. If Levy values him at £38 million, Højbjerg staying this summer. Can't see Atletico Madrid paying that. I really cannot. Højbjerg is a suitable sub, but it's we already read that. Sarr was always going to replace Højbjerg, just a matter of time. Again, we have to be careful with Sarr. It's still very, very early days for this boy. 4 or 5 games. But the signs are good. Yaya Toure is a big comparison we heard back in the day. But he looks to have everything. He looks to be box to box, which I think that's where the comparison came. Yaya Toure more attacking than he is defensive, but he could pick up the ball in defensive midfield, run through centre midfield, box to box, and then score from in and outside the box. A little bit like Moussa Dembele, although he didn't score a great deal. It's probably the closest comparison we have to Saul, though very, very different body type. Very different body type. Right back, Royal, Spence, Tanganga. Spence looks like he's gone. I'm going to get onto that in a second. Looks like Spence is going. I'm going to get onto the outgoings. Who I think is going to go and the news, the word on the street to who could be going. As I said, at this point, it still is only, Winks £10 million and Rodon on loan to Leeds. We haven't got rid of any other players. This is a good point, Audio. Tanganga could be the backup for right back, but a little bit of news on him going as well. Spence won't be there. I don't think Spence will be there. He's going to go on loan. But yeah, Royal Tanganga. Do you want Royal and Tanganga as your? I mean, this is 2023. You need to be able to assist. Tanganga's a very good defender, but he won't assist. Introverted or on the outside, doesn't matter who the manager is. You need assists from your fullbacks. And Royal won't do it. Royal's got 3 in 65 games. So I think Porro is the man for right back. I believe he will learn how to defend. I believe you've got to stick with him, and you can have Emerson as backup this season. For next season, I'd be looking at if Porro doesn't, if Porro cannot defend, if he cannot defend, then you have to look at selling him this season. Keep Porro, keep Emerson, get a. No, I would have got another right winger in to back up Kulusevski, but doesn't look like that's going to happen now. There was Sancho. We were linked with Jadon Sancho for few. Is Sancho gone yet? I'm not sure if Sancho's gone anywhere. It was linked back to Dortmund, but I don't think Sancho's gone anywhere. Sancho on loan, but that link seemed to come about at the same point we weren't going to sign Kulu. So it was like at that point in time, it was Kulusevski or Sancho. I remember doing a little short video on it when the rumours first came out. So, not linked to any other right wingers, but we've got to be careful. 1 or 2 injuries. And I talked about earlier, Maddison. It looks like he's limped away from the Man United game. If he gets injured, we're in trouble already. He's a key player. He's already vice-captain, isn't he, Maddison? I think he's already vice-captain, so he's a key man in the dressing room. Aglaya Luzu. Oh, you change your name all the time, Ellie. Is this you, Ellie? Big up, Tommy. Just joined, and Madders should be okay. I hear on the grapevine. Fingers crossed. But for longevity and over the season, we're still going to need backup for Maddison. That was the point I was trying to make, and I believe it is going to be Lo Celso, not Gil, not Kulusevski. You might have discussed this on the channel already, but I haven't been here for 10 days, my friend. So not a lot has been discussed by me. Thiago and Dan done a stream on Tuesday, N17 effect. That's going to be coming back tomorrow with me at 8 o'clock. And they talked about a few things, but thoughts on Joe Lewis being accused of insider trading. Supposedly Jay-Z is interested in buying the club. Oh, this is going way back, Jack. This is going way back. Yeah, Jay-Z interesting. But do you know what? I'm going to keep this brief. I think the Jay-Z links was simply because Beyonce had a few dates at the Tottenhamhotspurstadium. Apparently she's going to have a few more too next year. So I think that's where those little weak journalism. Beyonce sings a few hymns, a few ballads, and now her husband's linked with taking over Spurs. I don't think Levy's going anywhere soon, unless you got £6-7 billion. I know last summer he said 3 billion. Me and Joe Lewis would talk. Enoch could talk if we get a 3 billion offer for Spurs. No way. We're producing so much money, so much revenue for Enoch. They're not going to take less than 7 billion. You could even be looking at. Sounds crazy. You could be looking at double figures in the billions for Levy to sell. So we're going to have to get used to Levy being here. He's already been here 23 years. 46 transfer windows. We just need him. We absolutely need to put pressure on him through protests, through social media, through at the ground, protests inside the ground, not just outside, to put the pressure on Levy to keep spending the money, because I don't see him selling for a long, long time, Jay-Z or otherwise. Kulu, Maddison. If Maddison is injured, thoughts? Yeah. I mean, look, he's a through ball maker, isn't he, Kulu? He's very good at passing, but it's a completely different kettle of fish to come on the right-hand side to Cam. I don't see that transition very often. A winger to a Cam. I when people mentioned it with Brian Gill, I was thinking about it. I was trying to think of Spanish players that have done it. And David Silva did do it very well. David Silva was a left winger for Valencia. Sort of the same body type as Gill as well. Man City signed him, was a left winger to begin with, and turned into one of the best Cams in the league, David Silva. So it can happen. So therefore, it could possibly happen with Kulusevski. But I like a small man as a Cam. Maddison's relatively small, isn't he? 5'9". Ericsson 5'7", 5'8". Bernardo Silva 5'8". You want these little. Bruno Fernandes is pretty small as well. Find the gaps and sort of sneak in with the through balls. But as backup, if you need to rotate the team, I suppose it can happen. It can happen now and again. But I think Lo Celso is going to be in a 25-man squad, and that's what he's going to be used for. If Madders is injured, big up Tommy. Punch bag workouts. How you doing, my friend? Spencer's on the transfer list. Is he? Is he actually on the transfer list? I think he's going to be loaned out to Leicester, I think it is. As I said, I'm going to go into the outgoings in a second. I need to start talking strikers. I get too carried away with the chat. But we've got 31 people watching. We're 31 minutes in to the stream. Please smash a like if you haven't already done so. It'd be wonderful if we can get to 20 likes. We're on the road to 3K. Every like makes a difference, and every like is free, as is hitting the notification bell. I don't like begging, but it really does improve the channel. And we've got lots of things happening. We're going to have different hosts coming on. Let's see. I'm old school. I have to go to the stream myself to see how many likes we got. So we're only on 18 at the minute. If you can smash a like, that would be wonderful for me, and subscribe if you haven't. Are we going to meet the homegrown quota? The homegrown quota is different this season for us because we're not in Europe. So we still have to have 8 players, but they don't have to be Spurs trained, which is why we can happily get rid of Winks. We can get rid of Kane. We can get rid of Tanganga as long as we have 8 homegrown players just in England. In Europe, it's different. You have to have 8. 4 of them have to be from Spurs. So I'm pretty sure the Maddison replaces Kane as a homegrown player. The third keeper, Forster's a homegrown. Our third keeper will be Austin, who's homegrown. So we always sneak it. Teams sneak the third keeper in being British. They always sneak a third keeper being British in. We should be fine. Are we going? Van der Ven obviously doesn't count. Dyer doesn't count. Reggie Adogi doesn't count. Spence would count. We might have to keep Spence for that, possibly. Skip counts, so Skip's definitely going to be around. Saar won't count. Will Saar count in 2 years? You have to be at the club from 18 years old till 18 years old for 3 years. Did we sign Saar when he was 18 or 19? If we signed him when he was 18, he can become homegrown. Believe it or not. So I think we will make it. It's going to be quite tricky though, isn't it? That's why I always wanted a centre-back. I wanted an English centre-back in. It's always good to have an English centre-back in. Sell Dyer, get an English centre-back in. Would be wonderful. We could even look at Tosin. Tosin is still available, and Fulham is still looking to sell because his contract runs out next season. Sancho played on Saturday at the Hotspur Hood. Oh, did he play? I missed the game. Completely missed the game. He played for Man United. He didn't start, did he? He definitely didn't start. I was on the plane. I was on the plane back Monday night, so I missed the entire game. I was actually, 7:30, the flight was, but we're 2 hours ahead in Greece. 2 hours ahead in Greece, so I missed the entire game. Let's have a look. He did come on. He didn't do very well, did he? Looking at the game, looking at the highlights, we did okay. I mean, apparently, Saar was one of the very good performers of the game. Nick, I'm surprised you're not selling Emerson to me. I've dissed Emerson a little bit. I'm surprised you're not selling him. If you don't know who Nick is, you should know who Nick is. He goes by Barry. He goes by Ranjit. He makes out he doesn't like dogs, but we all know he does. The Spence thing is weird as fuck. I think that rumor only came about when it was we weren't looking to conclude the deal for Kulu. We didn't hit the mandatory fee, or the not the mandatory fee, the optional fee. We got him for slightly less, Kulu. But since then, we haven't been looking at Sancho. I've got a funny feeling that Sancho will still go somewhere other than Man United. Big up our Lionesses too. What a great effort. This must be Ellie. She knows her stuff. She knows her stuff when it comes to Spurs. She knows her stuff, especially when it comes to women's football in that second half. But it just wouldn't come off for us. Spain deserved winners, though. Technically brilliant, and 9 players from Barca. So what's crazy is they didn't qualify for the World Cup in 2015, did they? So I watched little bits of it. I watched the final, the majority of the final. The whole of the second half, and they're very good, aren't they? They're very, very good, Spain. They play exactly as the national team, the men's national team play. They keep that ball on the floor. Really good in tight positions, 1 to 2 touch football. Very, very good. I tell you what, the comparing men's to women's sport is always difficult. Men are just physically stronger in every way. That's no disrespect to women. Women playing women in tennis. I love watching women's tennis. I love watching women's cricket. It's fantastic to see them compete against each other, to see what they're capable of. But I tell you, there's one girl. Is it Lauren James? Reece James' sister? I'll tell you what, she could play men's football. I think she could play down the leagues. I think she could play League 2, League 1, which is unbelievable. Because, physically we are different. A man can go down to 2 or 3% body fat and be perfectly fine. A woman can't really go down below 10% body fat. And height and testosterone, it changes everything. But it's still fantastic. I've been watching women's cricket for a long, long time. And women's tennis, they get paid the same amount because they bring in the same amount. So it's good to see. It's fantastic. It would have been great if we could have done it, but it wasn't to be. I've been saying since we signed Maddison that it's Lauren James, isn't it? It is Lauren James. I see some of her touches. I see some of her flicks through. She's a big girl as well, isn't she? Like muscle. Like she definitely grew up playing men's football, Lauren James, with Reece in the park. Let's face it. You know, serious ballers, both of them. I've been saying since we signed Maddison that Kulu would be a great replacement for him. Cups, injuries, and maybe alternated. There's an option in there, but as I said, I like him small. I like my Cam small. About the final yesterday, but I've said all tournaments, Spain have played the best football, was never going to be easy, but we got there and we had a go. Dyer going to Everton, Videli, good, go. Modric was a left winger for us and converted to probably the best centre mid of his gen. He played on the left wing for Dynamo Zagreb, but he was definitely a centre mid than a Cam for the majority of his Zagreb days. I think towards the end, and for Croatia, he was playing on the left wing because they had better centre midfielders. But predominantly, Modric came as a centre mid / Cam, and he was magnificent. And he was small. He was small, and that's great. I want to see them small. It sounds like I'm being heightist here. Is that a thing? Forster is too old and too slow. It takes him 50 minutes to get down to. Right, I've got to start talking strikers. I'll get back into the chat in a second. Right, ORBAN and Ritchie. This was the title of the stream. There are other players rumoured outside of Richarlison and ORBAN in terms of transfers coming in. First of all, I want to get to what Ritchie has to offer. Get in the comments. Tell me what you think Ritchie has to offer. Is he good enough to stay as the number 9 or to rotate with Son? Maybe Son as the number 9 for the majority of this season. Are they good enough? Just those two as options. Let me know in the chat. So Richarlison, very little to go by this season. He has started both games, 0 goals. He's not a good finish. He's not a great finisher. He's a good finisher. He's not good enough to get 20 goals. Not as a number 9. 1 goal. So 0 goals this season. It doesn't matter, 2 games. But 1 goal in 29 games in a year he's been at Spurs. 1 goal in 29 league games. Many were sub appearances, but at least 10, 11, 12 were starts. 1 goal in 12 starts. I don't care what he does for Brazil because Brazil, they're playing Bolivia, they're playing Paraguay. The only tough team they've got is Argentina, really. Colombia now and again, but look at Colombia. They've got the centre back. Who's Richarlison scoring these goals against when he plays Colombia, who are probably top 3 or 4 nations in South America? He's got Mina and Sanchez, who are both useless as far as I'm concerned. So, Richarlison scoring goals for Brazil in a number 9 position doesn't mean a great deal for me. And 1 goal in 29 league games. And watching him finish, it just seems rushed. In this league, if you want to fight for Europe, not just Champions League, even if you want to fight for top 7, Conference League, at the minimum, you need someone to score at least 15 goals. I think he can score 15, but that's about it. But I don't think he can score 15 as a number 9. For Everton, two years on the bounce, he scored 13 goals. That was his highest return for goals in the Premier League. Off the left. I think off the left, coming inside, he wants lots of touches of the ball. Richarlison needs lots of touches on the ball to feel like he's in the game. Then he can then he can finish from the left inside to the right. I think Son's exactly the same. You think that you turn these left wingers or right wingers into strikers, they're going to be in more attacking positions. That means they're going to score more goals. Wrong. Some players need to be on the ball, and that constance on the ball helps them to finish in the long run. I think Richarlison's one of them. He needs the ball at his feet. I don't think he's going to score 15 goals as a number 9. Can Son? I'm not sure either. He looks when he's coming centrally, Son, with balls over the top from, say, a Maddison, I don't see it. I don't see him scoring, certainly not 20 goals this season. We need a striker. Both look indecisive in those positions for me. As I said earlier, Ben Davis, Royal, Sarr, they've scored 3 of our 4 goals this season. There's no longevity to this. We're going to need someone to score 15, 20 goals, at least. So we need someone else to replace Kane. So some of the options outside of Ritchie, if Levy decides to use this £100 million we got for Kane. First up, Jonathan David. He's been linked with us for a long time now. Linked with other clubs for a long time. Still at Lille. He scored, I think, this week, and he's already, I think he's got 1 out of 2 games. I think France in Ligue 1, they've played 2 games too. So he's already on the score sheet for Lille this season. A lot of goals last season for them. Continues to be linked with us. So he's still linked with us. While there's 10 days left of the window, while we are Harry Kane-less, which we're going to be for the future, the rest of my support in life in terms of Spurs, while the window's open, there will be links. And it's back in there with David. But I cannot see Arsenal going into the season with Nketiah and Jesus as their strikers, especially with Jesus' injury problems last season. I'll be absolutely shocked if they do go with Nketiah and Jesus, and I'll be delighted if they do. So they've been, David's been constantly linked with Arsenal, and it makes a lot of sense. £60 million they're talking. Are we going to spend 60 million on David? I don't think so. So for me, he would be Arsenal bound. I can see David going to Arsenal. Those rumours have persisted all summer. People talk about Havertz can play up top, new Arsenal signing. He's a centre mid. He's 100% a centre mid. Chelsea had to play him up top because they had no one up front. They also need a striker. Nicholas Jackson's good, but they need a backup for him, and I don't think he's a natural finisher either. So Chelsea and Arsenal, last 10 days of the season, they're going to be looking at strikers. I think one of them will get David. Romelu Lukaku, constantly, week in, week out. Gallagher, who's the guy? Ziyech, before he went to Saudi Arabia this summer. And now Lukaku, Chelsea players that are linked with Spurs. I just don't see it happening. I don't see Chelsea accepting a bid from Spurs. Linked heavily, but I don't think he suits Ange's style at all. He's a hold the ball up, physically strong, very good in the air, Lukaku. I don't think he works in this Ange system. You need someone quick that can get onto balls over the top, has got pace, and just playing for Chelsea. I just don't see it happening. Sky Sports reported last night. I was watching it, and then I doubled down and looked at it, and it was true. I wasn't dreaming. It looks like it was mentioned that we made a bid for Lukaku. We put a bid in. I don't see it. I don't see Lukaku coming to Spurs, and I don't want to see him at Spurs, quite frankly. This is a guy I would like, Dusan Vlahovic, but he got a goal and 2 assists in his first game for Juventus. Word on the street that it was that Juventus wanted to sell all over the summer window. They need to make money. It was him or Chiesa they wanted to sell. Both big players. They still haven't sold Chiesa either. And they do things very late in windows, Juventus. They done it with Bentancur and Kudu when we signed both of them. They were in the 25. They were in Juventus's 25-man squad. Final day of the window, we got them. So they traditionally leave things very late. So Vlahovic could still be on his way. But same applies in terms of other teams. If Arsenal are looking at him, if Chelsea are looking at him, if Juventus are willing to let him go, then they will be in front of us for sure. There are other European clubs looking at him too. I thought he could have gone Bayern Munich. If Kane didn't go to Bayern Munich, I felt like Vlahovic would suit. He would certainly. I could see him suiting the Bayern Munich squad, the Bayern Munich starting 11. He's not a perfect fit for Ange, Vlahovic, because he's not ultra pacey, but a little bit like Kane. He's so good. He's smart with his runs on the shoulder of defenders. So without the pace, he times his runs perfectly well. So you don't need to rely on pace so much. Vlahovic is just a very, very good player. Look, for us to sign Vlahovic, you have to be a similar situation to Maddison, where it was clear that Maddison's a very good player, but we needed other clubs to not go in for him, like the Newcastles. Newcastle went in for him with Champions League football, and they can offer double his wages. Maddison would have gone to Newcastle. Nobody else came in for him. Thankfully for us, we got him. The same would need to be with Vlahovic. And stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. We got VDV late. 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, nobody thought we were getting Van der Vaart. Nobody could predict that. Stranger things have happened. I think there's less than 1% chance we could get Vlahovic, but I would love to see him in the Spurs shirt. You just never know. You never, ever know. More hopeful thinking than anything else. Now, finally, this one's the most realistic, and this is my guy. This is my guy here. I haven't been on stream live anyway to talk about this guy. And it's difficult to talk about this guy in depth because there's not a great deal to go on. Not a great deal to go by, but he's the top of a lot of fans' wish lists. And to be fair, for the last month. When I've been streaming, a lot of people in the chat are saying Gift Orban would be the perfect guy. Gift Orban would be this. I'll Gift Orban would be that. So 17 goals last season. Started well this season in the Belgian Pro Division. 2 goals in 3 games. Just 21 and just turned 21. So very, very young. He can't be a lot older than Scarlett, can he really? I can't be a lot older than Scarlett or the young Argentinian striker we signed, Veliz. So he's very inexperienced. But I tell you what, 30 million euros. If 30 million euros is the fee, it would be smart business. Not that I think we should be saving money, considering we just sold Kane for £100 million. But we've got to realise that we don't have unlimited money. And we're not an attractive proposition for players to come to. We're a circus right now. I know we beat Man United, but we're still a circus. It covers a few of the cracks. We still need a striker. So this is probably the most realistic. Gift Orban for 30 million euros. And I'm hearing we're signing Orban because of this. What is it? This statistical application we've put in place that Brighton have, that Brentford have. This is why we're signing Orban. That's ridiculous. This Brighton model we put in place was the day after we lost 6-1 to Newcastle. Coincidentally. After fans walked out after 20 minutes, after many fans watching on their TV sets turned off because we got beat so comprehensively. So I don't think we're looking at Orban because of this. That's the statistical data. Stevie Wonder can see that this guy's a decent little player. And 17 goals in 19 games is very good. Is very good. That's the main statistic you need for a goal scorer, is how many goals they've scored. But very, very young. Very little to go by, and it's safe to say that Belgium is not one of the best leagues in the world. It's probably 6th or 7th now. It never used to be in the top 10, but there are a lot of good players coming from Belgium these days, and 30 million euros I think would represent relatively good money. I've got a feeling it'll cost a lot more than that, but we'll see. We'll see if we do go in for him. I'd take him over Ritchie all day long, or at least he can compete with Ritchie as a number 9. As I said, I just don't think Ritchie would get 15 goals in a number 9 position. You need 15 goals. If we need to get back into Europe, that's the reality of the situation. Top 7. I don't think Richarlison gets us into the top 7 as a number 9. I don't think Richarlison helps us potentially win domestic trophies as a number 9. This guy will help with that. He needs competition, Richarlison. I think this is the most realistic option we have. So I'm down for it. If we were to go in for Orban and pick him up, I'm down for that. We definitely need someone before the window ends. And small, nippy, pace fits the bill for Ange perfectly. Furuhashi was very good. The Celtic scored a lot of goals in that row. And you can tell when you play a cam, you need someone with pace to get onto the balls. And we know Maddison can provide fantastic through balls. So it could fit. Could be a perfect fit. I would love to see a much more high-profile striker replace Kane, but it's this stage of the window. And as I said, we still are a circus. We can't offer a great deal to players. This has got to be the guy. This is probably the most. This is probably top of my list. I'd say Gift Orban. And people have been saying it for a long time. 21, just 21. You could get 10 years out of this guy. Get more than 10 years out of this guy. Right. Before we talk about outgoings. Are more outgoings happening? I've done my research on this the last 2 days to see where our potential deadwood could be going. And I will get to it in a second. But once more, I want to get back into the comments, see what people are saying. We got 40 people in the chat. Thank you ever so much. I know it can be difficult to watch these streams. Monday lunchtime. I don't think I've done a Monday lunchtime stream for a long, long time. But I felt like I had to start streaming again. We're going to be doing something Tuesday night, as always, 8 p.m. tomorrow. But I need to get back into the swing of things. I've got a lot to talk about, a lot to release. This is therapeutic for me more than anything, to be honest. So come on, are we on 25 likes? We're on 30 likes. Thank you ever so much. 35 people watching. I know people come in and out, and not everyone's like. Please smash a like. Please subscribe. We're on the road to 3K. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. It does make a big difference. Right. Where were we? Where were we? Maguire's available. Modric. Forster, too old and slow, takes him from 5 minutes. Homegrown, Forster, Davis. Oh, Davis, of course. Davis does count as homegrown because Davis does count as homegrown because he's even people say they doubt it because he was a Swansea boy. They count as they're a British team. They were a Premier League team for a long time, so he counts as homegrown. Forster, yeah, Davis, Austin, Tanganga. I don't think Tanganga's going to be there. Could be. Well, we haven't seen him at all, really. Again, whenever we've seen him in the last year, he struggled. I'm a fan of Tanganga. I was back in the day. I don't see him staying. Sessegnon. Completely forgot about Sessegnon. Surely he won't be in a 25-man squad. He's absolutely useless. I'll take Reggie over him all day long. So Forster, definitely. You've got Whiteman and Austin. You'd have one or the other. You're going to have both. You're not going to have 4 keepers in the squad, so you'd have one or the other. I don't want to keep. I mean, Maddison, Austin, Forster. Outside of that, skip. Don't really want the others. The others are just not good enough, really, are they? So we've got homegrown players there. Are they anywhere near good enough to be in the 25-man squad? I don't think so. And there's news that Forster could be going Celtic. Maguire is available. He's good in the air. That's all we can say about him. Under 20 players who don't count. Parrott, Sarr, Udogie, Velis, Scarlett, Dorrington. Who don't count. Why do they not count? They still count. But I suppose they won't count if they're on loan, if they're loaned out. The Hotspur Hood, I don't need to speak about the GOAT. He will be just fine. No one can say they weren't worried with Porro starting, but credit where credit is due. He done well. That's fair enough. Credit where credit's due. I appreciate that. He's Emerson loyal. That's all he is. He's Emerson loyal. He's a loyal boy, but there's not much football quality there. Frauds usually have many names. Chicken Royale is shit. Emerson loyal. That's all he's good for. And it's not rude. I'm being nice. I'm not swearing. But swear. Do what you need to, Tony. Dyer. Please go. Please go. Kulu will be better as a cam. As you've got more room to play his skills. He's strong on the ball and can pass well and has vision. Kulu would definitely fit the role. He's definitely got vision. 100%. It's one of his best traits, if not his best trait, because we know he's not that fast. I like nimbly people in the cam positions. The nimbly ones are always the best. Hi, Tommy. What's the crack? Tom Markinen, how you doing? My friend? What's going on? Blimey, not Barry mentioned Emigo again, is it? Do you know what? I put him up to it, basically. It was my fault. And system means the right back plays introverted in the midfield, so that's why both Emerson and Porro have been caught out of position. Difference was Sarr covered Porro much better than Skip. The introverted fullbacks is a different system. It's a different way of doing things. And we'll have to see over the duration of the season. What we have to remember is we're 2 games in, and this league is uncompromising. Since Guardiola came into this league has become very, very tactical. So early on, what Ange does, other teams will be calculating how they can counteract it already. So if we, first 4 or 5 games, we might do very well, but there will be plans in place. And we need to, how do we recover from that? That's why things may look okay now, won 1 game. But before the summer windows ended, we still need 1 or 2 in for sure. Didn't the US women get beaten by the US under-16 boys teams? I believe they got battered. Yeah, they did. They did. I think it's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? Men and women's football it's just a different kettle of fish. Audio, they got heavily beaten by a team of 15-year-old boys. I think Wrexham's mid-40 team beat the USA women's first team as well. Big up Ellie, Nick, and Haas. Grilled a pigeon. Richard, is that Ritchie? Richarlison has the work rate needed for this system, but I don't see him getting more than 15 goals a season max. Yeah, he does. He fits the mode physically, and he's got the pace to get in behind. His decision making when it comes to the timing of his runs are horrible as well. They're just not good. So yeah, I agree with that. He barely started last season as a 9. A lot of people bring up scoring little amount of goals in Everton, but he has better players around him now. I just see him as out and out number 9. I think he's going to struggle. I really do. Yes, Wayne, we just need a little bit more tech ability, but we could have still won. And I feel if we had equalised, we would have won. I mean, we lost 1-0, didn't we? I mean, the England women's, the Lionesses lost 1-0, so it could have been very, very different. I rate Ritchie's batting qualities, but that's it. Part of me would rather see Scarlett given the chance for his pace and mobility. Scarlett needs a proper good loan spell. It started well last season at Portsmouth. He got a couple of early goals, but it's just it never got to anywhere. You know, Parrott as well, who's going to be the next Harry Kane, is just never really got there. Saicedo yesterday was really bad. Yeah, he was awful. Chelsea just time and time again, they're not really learning. They just spend 120 million pounds on players. Not the players that fit, just players that have done well. They need to fit into the system. But I tell you what Pochettino's doing. Did you see Chelsea's bench? I didn't watch the game. It's all like 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. So he's willing to use the young players. I think Chelsea will come good. I don't want to talk about Chelsea too much. I think they will come good. They only lost one game. Ritchie can't score 15 goals. His first touch is shit. And his timing of his runs, I know he ain't good enough. We should go get Lautaro Martinez. I'll take him all day long. But as you said, as you're laughing, Eugene, it's going to be very difficult. I'll take a punt on ORBAN, 30 million now, as he might be 60 to 80 million pounds in January. I don't think players will go to that fee in Belgium. I don't think they will ever go to that fee in Belgium. But 40, 50 million, definitely. I don't think 80 million pounds. I don't think you could spend 80 million pounds on a player from Belgium. Maybe at his age, if he destroys it, like Haaland destroyed it when he was at Salzburg, and like Haaland destroyed it when he was in the Bundesliga. If he scores, like if he's by January, if he's played 18 games and he scored 30 goals, perhaps. Is Balogun worth 50? I don't know. He's not gone yet, has he? He's not gone to the links with Inter Milan, but I wouldn't say so. I think he was second top goal scorer in France. So there's talent there. Time to give Scarlett a chance. You never know how good he is. It's true, but if in training he's not doing it, and if at Portsmouth he's not scoring goals, I think he scored 3 or 4 goals in League One last season. Putting him straight in as your number 9 or your backup is very, very risky, to say the least. Tommy, is that a cat tattoo? I thought you were a dog guy. It is. It's a terrible cat tattoo. In fact, it's the only one I got abroad. My girlfriend got one the other day. I said, don't do it. They don't turn out well. But yeah, this is by far. This got infected. That's why it's not good. I've had some pretty bad tattoos, but that's the worst. Tommy, don't compare Stevie with Levy out. Mr. Wonder. Reggie going to Sociedad. Yeah, I heard that 2 weeks ago, but nothing seems to be happening with Reggie. Right, so outgoings. Let's get into it in full. So yeah, look, I have a good understanding. I've done a bit of research over the last few days to see where the links are exactly. As I said earlier, as we all know, Winks is the only one that's gone for money. £10 million to Leicester. Rodon on loan to Leeds. I think there's an optional fee there. Lots of links, but nothing concrete. I'll give you the run through. Lloris was on his way to Lazio. Seems to have rejected a contract. And this is why Forster could be on his way to Celtic, because Lloris could still be backup to Vicario, or him and Vicario could be fighting for the number 1 jersey. That's what people are saying. That's what people have said over the last few days. Not me, myself. I think Lloris will still go. But he has rejected a contract from Lazio, which is worrying. And if he does stay, Forster will almost certainly have to go. Then you've got homegrown problems again, because Forster being homegrown is key. Eric Dyer, the Saudi links have gone, but he's also linked to Celtic. SPL suits him perfectly. Slow, woeful attacks. He could look good against SPL attacks, Scottish League attacks. Do you know the Saudi league's called the SPL as well, isn't it? Saudi Pro League, Scottish Premier League, both called SPL. So he could be going to the SPL regardless. But those Saudi links have sort of dissipated a little bit with Eric Dyer. We need him gone. The fact that Ange isn't using him in the first 2 games of the season. Do you know what? Even if we lost the first 2 games of the season, I'd still be relatively happy with Eric Dyer not getting any game time, because that guy needs to go. He is my nemesis. He's my Spurs nemesis. Since I started streaming, the last 10 years at the club, he's been stealing the wage. He needs to go. Celtic, please get him. Please get him, Celtic. Sanchez seems to like, Ange seems to like Davinson Sanchez. Seems to be the first one in after Romero and Van der Ven. But Monaco are lining him up. Disasi, they sold to Chelsea, looked terrible the other day against West Ham. Disasi. Obviously, him playing for Monaco, them selling him, they're looking for a replacement. So Tosin, Fulham's Tosin, who I think we should be getting instead of Longley, let's say. Sell Eric Dyer, don't get Longley, and get Tosin in, homegrown too. But Monaco are looking at Sanchez or Tosin to replace Disasi. So fingers crossed we can still move Sanchez on too. Tanganga, linked to Luton on loan. Can we call Luton a London club? I don't really class Luton as London. Outskirts at best. I think they are classed as London. So fellow London club. Will it be I don't think we can call it a London derby when we play Luton. Spurs Luton. But Tanganga linked there. He doesn't seem keen. The word on the street is that he doesn't seem keen. He doesn't want to go there. Similar to his Turkish move last season. He had the opportunity to go to Trabzonspor. He didn't take it. So maybe Tanganga wants to fight for his place. I think it's time for him to go on loan, Tanganga. He's never been on loan. He's been at the club 4 or 5 years. Looked good early on. Never had a loan move. I think it would work out well for him, Tanganga. But we might have to keep him for the homegrown quota. Reggie, as somebody stated, Sociedad rumours. Who put that? Look, Eugene. Reggie to Sociedad. Yeah, I heard this. So I've got the notes up here. I heard this like a month ago, but still nothing happened. Sociedad had also been linked with another left back from the Premier League. They were linked with, was it Tierney? Arsenal Tierney. So they're definitely after left backs. They haven't signed one yet, so hopefully the Reggie rumours are right. But, who would you take? Would you rather have Reggie or Sessegnon backing up the Dogi? I would probably prefer Reggie. But again, the homegrown thing comes into the thinking, so we might have to keep Sessegnon. Useless. I just forgot he was a Spurs player. Didn't even think about him being a Spurs player. But like Gil, he's been injured. Now, Spence, heavily linked to Southampton on loan after they sold Livramento. So always trying to make sense of things, and this makes a lot of sense. Livramento sold to Newcastle for 40 million pounds, Southampton. So now they're looking at Spence to bring in as on loan. That'll mean we've sold a player to all the relegated clubs. if we loan Spence to Southampton, because we sold Winks to Leicester, Rodon to Leeds, and now if Spence does go, it'd be Spence to Southampton. That's a very strong championship. I'm going to watch championship this season. Very, very strong league this season. Gil, into the midfield now. Gil, nothing, absolutely nothing, but he has been injured. I think he'll go away. If he's fit, he'll go on loan somewhere last minute, like he has done over the last few years. Højbjerg, Levy wants £38 million. That's what I'm hearing, which is way over his value for me. I know he was first team for us for 2 years, and being first team in the Premier League for a couple of years, your value will be high. If Levy comes down in his price, he'd have to come down to below 30. If Levy has put £38 million price tag on Højbjerg, he need to come down 28 million pounds. I think Atletico Madrid could be looking at him. He would suit Diego Simeone's system. Diego Simeone signed a new contract at Atletico Madrid, very defensive manager. I think Højbjerg is best as a defensive minded midfielder, if I'm perfectly honest. He can offer something attacking. He plays in a more attacking role for Denmark. I think he's limited. I think Højbjerg is better as a defensive-minded player, so it would make sense to go to Atletico Madrid. But Levy, you have to accept less than £30 million. I'm not too worried if Højbjerg stays or not. I'm really not. I like him. I'm not going to lose any sleep if he's sold. It's as simple as that. Right. Finally, I'm going to be looking at, as I have been doing on these transfer streams. These transfer streams are not going to be fast coming now because we've got 10 days left to the end of the window. But I always like to end these lunchtime scoops on football gossip, latest gossip. Not a great deal today, but I will go through some of the rumours that have been happening over the last few days, some yesterday. Right, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Please smash a like. We're over an hour into the stream now. Please smash a like if you haven't already done so. We're over 30 likes now. So, they all make a difference. I'll take a punt on ORBAN. It's time to give Scarlett a chance. Reggie going so. This is where we are. This Jonas Wind looks like a tidy player. I know him from Football Manager. I've never heard of him linked. But Jonas Wind, I know him from Football Manager. That's it. And he's a good player in Football Manager 2023. Dyer swap for Hart. Bring Hart back in. Tosin wants Monaco. But who do Monaco want? Do Monaco want Tosin or do they want Sanchez? Because they're heavily linked with Sanchez. Sanchez had the option to go to the spot at Moscow, I think, earlier on in the window. But the whole Russia conflict, I don't think many players will want to be going there. So makes sense that Sanchez rejected that. Fingers crossed he'll be on his way. But it looks like Postecoglou, first man in after Romero and Van der Ven is Sanchez. So there's a very high chance that Ange won't be looking to sell him. Hugo's on too much money to not be playing. He'll be paid up or given a free transfer closer to the end of the window if offers don't come in. Yeah, he's on $100,000 a week. That was the biggest issue a couple of years ago. And it's the biggest issue at Spurs. Contracts. Ben Davies. We get Ben Davies a 3-year contract last summer. Why? He's 30 years old. Give him a 2-year contract. Lloris was terrible. 3 years ago, he was terrible. He had half a good season. So give him a 1.5-year extension. 1.5-year extension is fine. We gave him a 2.5-year extension. Now, we can't sell him. We're in this situation. We're in this situation where we're going to even have to compensate him a lot of money, or we're going to have to pay his wages if he moves to another club, losing money. Silly. Shouldn't give anyone over 30, you shouldn't give over a 2-year contract to, especially 34, 35, Lloris. Giving a 2.5-year contract to him at a time. Silly. Big up, Nick. A lot of love between the people. Ange is keeping Bambi. Bambi on ice. That is a very good description of Sanchez. Whoever came up with that to begin with, that is the perfect description of Sanchez. Right, so some rumours doing the rounds over the last few days. Chelsea. Some involved in Spurs, some not. Chelsea interested in signing USA striker Balogun. So I didn't know Balogun was linked with Chelsea. So I'm just seeing these for the first time. It was Inter Milan. But Arsenal value him at £50 million, with Monaco also keen on the 22-year-old. Another player Monaco looking at, while Inter Milan are no longer in the running. That's Sky Sports reporting that. Chelsea have registered an interest in Raul Valladolid and Spain right back Ivan Fresneda, but 18-year-old wants to move to Barcelona. That's the Mail. The Blues are also closing in on £11.8 million move for Serbia and New England Revolution. Going to America. Jorge Petrovic for 23 years old, Evening Standard reporting that. Man City are confident Portugal winger Bernardo Silva, 29, will sign a new contract despite speculation about his future in the summer. I would love, if we didn't sign Maddison, I would have loved Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva still, as a camera on the right, works perfectly. I would have loved Bernardo Silva and Laporte because they're always rumoured with leaving. It would have been similar to Zinchenko and Jesus in terms of, getting winners into your squad. We still haven't got that this summer. Maddison's a good player, but let's face it, his club just got relegated. Fiorentina are yet to receive an official offer from Man United for 26-year-old Morocco midfielder Sofiane Amrabat. If we played with a free, I'd be taking Amrabat all day long. But I think one of the reasons we're selling Højbjerg is because we're not playing a free. We're going to play with a 4-2-3-1. Maddison in that cam position, or as I said earlier, maybe Lo Celso, maybe Kulusevski in the cam position. So, Amrabat's a very good player, but once linked with Spurs, the rumours to Man United and Liverpool make a lot more sense. Barcelona are in advanced talks with Man City to sign Portugal fullback João Cancelo, and the 29-year-old is keen on the move. That's Romero reporting this. What a right back he is, Cancelo. Cancelo is a great right back, left back, centre mid, fell out with Pep. And everyone doubted, losing a player of Cancelo's ability. A lot of people doubted whether Man City would even go on to win the league. I mean, Arsenal were clear at one stage. Selling Cancelo, they didn't just win the league, come back and win the league. They won the treble. So, Cancelo looks like he's on his way out. Luton have made inquiries about a loan for Tottenham's English defender Tanganga. That's the Athletic reporting that. I knew I got that from somewhere. Man United and France defender Varane has been targeted by Saudi Arabian side Al Etihad. That's the Express. I'll tell you what, speaking Spurs, a lot of Nick, you're popular, mate. You've been, I think you've been on We Are Tottenham TV. You've been doing the rounds on there. Very, very popular. And I thought everyone knew you was Barry, not Nick. But you're back to Nick now. He's gone professional. Nick's very popular. Liverpool remain interested in Crystal Palace and Mali midfielder Czech Decore. I heard this a month ago. Like, we're talking 50, 60 million pounds for Decore. Palace has had a decent season. We're linked with Eze as well, aren't we? We're linked with Eze. So I can't see Crystal Palace. They've already lost Zaha, haven't they, to Galatasaray, selling Eze, Ulis, and Decore in the same window. I got a funny feeling Eze is going to go somewhere. Eze or Elise. I mean, Chelsea are looking at Elise as well, aren't they? So they'll only sell one of those three, Palace, especially this late in the window, and especially having lost Zaha already. Liverpool signed Japan midfielder Wataru Endo from Stuttgart. I think they do that to get the Asian fan base on their side. They done it with Minamento, didn't they? They had no intention to actually keep Minamento, did they? They like to get the Asian players on board. I think it's for that reason alone. I loved Eze. I loved Eze when I used to watch the Championship football. I loved Elise when I used to watch Championship football. And the best thing about Eze is he's very adaptable. So he can play centre mid, he can play cam. Played centre mid, flat centre mid for Palace last season. So, a number of positions. He played on the right as well, I think, Eze. Be a fantastic signing, homegrown too. Missed the trick not signing him for £20 million when he was at QPR. Liverpool are also keen on Bayern Munich and the Netherlands midfielder Ryan Gravenberch, I should say, and are willing to bid up to £20 million for the 21-year-old. £20 million, low fee. That's the build in Germany. Reporting that. Not too many of these to go now. Leeds and United States midfielder Tyler Adams has passed his medical and signed a 5-year deal with Bournemouth. That's a fantastic signing. They've got Alex Scott as well, haven't they? They've done well in centre midfield, Bournemouth. Done very well. I was chilling in Greece and I saw Bournemouth 1-0 up against Liverpool. I thought they were going to do some... I thought they were going to do the unthinkable second game into the season and beat Liverpool, but they ended up losing 3-1, didn't they? But Alex Scott, smart bit of business for £15 million, and Tyler Adams too, very good player. Man United and Ivory Coast defender Eric Bailly is in talks to join Fulham after a move to Saudi Premier League side Al Nassr appears to have collapsed. That's good because there's a domino effect there. It means Tosin could be on his way. It means Tosin could be on his way to Spurs. I would take Tosin over Dyer, over Sanchez all day long. Barcelona's Spanish midfielder, that's the Mail who reported that. Barcelona's Spanish forward Ansu Fati, 20, has been offered to Paris Saint-Germain after previously being linked with Man United and Arsenal. So they still need money. Barcelona's still heavily in debt. That's why they're trying to sell the likes of Ansu Fati, very good young player. Bayern Munich's Benjamin Pavard, linked with Spurs earlier on in the window, remains one of Inter Milan's targets, with the France defender also attracting interest from Arsenal. That's the Evening Standard. As the Harry Kane saga developed, there was word on the street that we was going to try and get Pavard as some sort of in some sort of exchange. So maybe Pavard to knock £20 million off the fee. So Bayern Munich would spend 70 million and give us Pavard. I think that was more hopeful thinking from Spurs fans, more hopeful than anything. And because at the time he hadn't signed a centre back. We do have Van der Ven now. I like the fact that we got Van der Ven, but we need someone else too. We really, really do. West Ham boss David Moyes has claimed that he is currently not considering a move for 30-year-old English midfielder and former Hammers Lone Star Jesse Lingard. See, Jesse Lingard was fantastic at West Ham in his 6 months there. Been released by Nottingham Forest after a season. I think he's taken too much interest in his fashion line than his footballing, Lingard, and that's why he was released from Nottingham Forest. They can have him. West Ham can have him. I remember that we were heavily linked with him last summer. Southampton are interested in signing 21-year-old German midfielder Luca Kerber from Saarbrücken. That's very random in the Mail. And that is your transfer rumours for today. That's yesterday's transfer rumours mixed with the last few days. I want to see if I've got a very good Facebook group that do a fantastic job of collecting these transfer rumours and telling us which paper they come from. Let's have a look. Is there anything from here? They've been lazy. They've been lazy the last few days, giving me this news. Let's have a look. All around football news. I always like looking at these rumours. I like bringing them up towards the end of the stream. And I like bringing them up because we might not be talking about it for a great deal longer. Oh, I heard that Doku was on his way to Man City potentially. The Rennes winger. Doku, the Ren winger, which makes sense because who did I say was linked with Ren earlier? Ndombele. Ndombele is not a winger. So if Doku goes to Man City, they'd have a bit of money, Ren. Maybe they could sign Ndombele off us. We pray. There's every chance that Ren could sign Ndombele, but it would be on loan, wouldn't it? Let's face it. Right. Let's see what people are saying in the chat before we go. I always try and make this as interactive as possible. We are well over an hour in. If you haven't hit the like, please make sure you do. I'm going to get through these last messages. If you want me to talk about anything you're thinking, get in a chat now before we go. We were on 30 likes the last time I checked. I swear to God, if we were on anything less than 30, then I'm not talking transfers again towards the end of the stream. We're on 33. Fantastic. Thanks for joining me today. So for the final time, let's see what people are saying in the chat. There's so much love for Eugene, Nick, and I love to see it. I can't help the love, mate. I think if the fans knew of your Emerson rhetoric, if the fans really heard of your Emerson rhetoric, they wouldn't like you as much. You wouldn't be as popular. Or maybe that is why you're popular. You're trying to convince people that Emerson's the GOAT. But no, Barry's one of the good ones. I think Shelfside are up and running again, him and Rez. So if that's going again, you've got to make sure you watch that Thursday night. You don't get Eze for less than 70 mil. Yeah, I agree. QPR have a 20% sell-on fee for Eze as well. He got released by Fulham at a young age, Eze, because they said he wasn't big enough. And he's not a big player. You don't need to be big. I mean, Messi wasn't big. Greatest player of all time. Endo is Liverpool's third signing. They needed centre mids, and Liverpool signing centre mids. Liverpool were interested in Chelsea responded with, we ain't falling for that one. KW, Walker Peters heading to Arsenal. We should never have sold Walker Peters. We've had an absolute fucking mare when it comes to right back over the years. Selling Walker Peters, we should never have done. Although it was a weird sort of exchange. I said exchange earlier with the Pavard Kane thing that could have gone through. But we signed Højbjerg and Walker Peters went the other way. Homegrown, right back, left back. But I never saw. I haven't heard this rumour, Eugene. Carl Walker Peters going to Arsenal. That's a weird one, man. But I'll look into that. I'll definitely look into that. So yes, thanks for watching. It's been fun being back on stream. I need to get the first one out of the way. I feel a little bit more chill now. A little bit of therapy for myself, as well as hopefully some of you lot at home. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m, I'll be joined by guests, a plethora of guests. We will go big. We will go hard. We'll talk about some of the stuff we did today. We'll talk about a whole new array of subjects and topics. So make sure you join us for that. Don't forget to smash a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I will come find you. I know who you are. If you are watching and haven't hit that like or haven't subscribed, I know who you are. So join us tomorrow. Stay safe, stay free, stay classy, little words. Peace out.